We are joined now by CNA's Deborah Wong, reporting to us live from Beijing. So, Deborah, just a month or so ago, I believe Elon Musk, he declared that his SpaceX, they're going to be building data centers on space. And then what happened a week later was China responded and said, game on. So help us understand this space race and its importance for China.
So as we've seen in the 20th century space race, it's quite clear that space is really an arena for geopolitical rivalries on Earth to play out. So every new milestone really allows China to not just project power, but also to showcase its tech advancement and also sharpen its competitive edge. I give you one example. China had its Chang'e mission, and back in 2019, it actually launched the first ever spacecraft to land on the far side of the moon, and it really was the first ever country to achieve that. And within a few years, in 2024, it launched another spacecraft to collect lunar samples from the far side of the moon as well, really making China, achieve something that the US has not been able to do. And that really brings China also one step closer to mapping out lunar history as well as making new discoveries. And that's significant because up till then, China has always been trying to play catch up to the US. And those two missions really showed that China can be considered a serious contender in the space race.
And also, Deborah, not to mention that, these endeavors, they're super expensive. You must develop the tech and not to mention, each time it fails, it also costs money. But winning this race is crucial, isn't it?
It's very crucial. I mean, absolutely. Space is a sector where those with deep pockets as well as a high tolerance for failure, that's essential traits to have because space really is a very vast, uncharted territory. So you need a lot of patience to, try to get even close to reaching a milestone. Now, China, in naming space as a strategic growth pillar, we see Chinese political will translate to R&D subsidies as well as state investments, and all this money, they're flowing into Chinese companies, private companies like Landspace, which is currently developing China's first ever reusable rocket. And eventually, if that's successful, that paves the way for more sustainable launches on a larger scale. Now, US-based company SpaceX, that's run by Elon Musk, it's the first ever company and the only one in the world to do so far, and that's going to be putting US way ahead of China. So state subsidies aside, China's promotion of, private sector investments has also fueled the innovation drive. So you put two together, that really is building an ecosystem that creates opportunities to develop and to innovate. But that's really only the starting point, because when we talk about global supply chains on Earth and we translate that to the future of space, it's no doubt going to be internationally connected. Have a listen.
Countries have to invest a lot on space if they want everything on their own. Right, and I don't think it's feasible for every country because actually, as I said, space is a shared resources and the infrastructure inherently can be shared for everybody. You don't want a satellite only service for your own country. You want it to be able to service for everybody else. We need multilateral or bilateral discussion that to what extent can two countries or multiple countries can work together to spend least on investment on the infrastructure?
And that's where I'm hoping you help us answer that question, Deborah, because we do see international space collaboration, but given today's geopolitics, right? I mean, how feasible is it to continue fostering that?
So space is very closely linked to national interests like security, national defense, sovereignty issues as well, because many tech related to space, like satellites, they are dual use and they serve civilian needs like navigation. They also do serve military needs like intelligence. So export controls on such technologies really do limit cross-border collaboration. The US has banned NASA from working and sharing data with China, and Chinese nationals are also restricted from working in NASA. But partnerships in commercial space. That's one area where experts are saying could be possible for international collaboration. As it is, we already see some people sharing, multiple countries sharing data on climate monitoring, disaster report management. All these require the use of remote sensing data as well as satellites. So that could be a possible avenue. And for the mainland to do that, perhaps they could be tapping on Hong Kong as well, because the common law system is right there. And I spoke to one expert, Gary from Natixis, to understand more about this collaboration. Have a listen.
Hong Kong will have a role to play in finance, which is for sure, in collaborating between Chinese and international capital, or maybe an area for consensus in certain collaboration on technology. Maybe it can serve as like a hub globally for certain sectors, such as space. So we all know that SpaceX has many satellites in the world, and last year in December, China has also applied for a large number of satellites. So really, how to have like a rule-based system within this new area can be actually quite important.
So, Deborah, we know that China has poured in billions in this new frontier, but what does it mean for ordinary Chinese and also for its economy?
So we look at the big picture, right? China aims to achieve high-quality development in its commercial space sector by 2027. It's already listed space as a strategic growth pillar in its 15 five-year plan, which we were going to which will be discussed in Beijing this week. And proposals since late last year already focus on strengthening national resilience in science and tech, boosting consumption. So we're going to see all those details being discussed this week. Now, local governments, we know, have already been encouraged to set up innovation centers to spur R&D, specifically for reusable rockets as well as smart satellites, as they pave the way, for potentially space mining, space tourism, and space data centers in the future. And all these ideas, they are expected to create new supply chains as well as pave the way for new career roads, not just in tech, but also in insurance, legal, financial services. And, they would eventually be creating jobs that we don't even know exist today. Oteli.
All right, thanks so very much for that story and that report. CNA's Deborah Wong reporting to us live from Beijing.